Is the EU really building a drone wall on its eastern borders with Belarus and Russia? If so, what is a drone wall exactly? How long will it be? How much would it cost? And when would it be ready? You've probably heard that drones have caused European countries all sorts of problems recently. Perhaps the biggest headlines were made when around 20 Russian drones crossed into Poland early in September, with some reaching several hundred kilometers and forcing the country to close some of its airspace. Since then, there have been drones hovering over critical infrastructure such as military bases, harbors and power plants in places like Germany, Bulgaria, Romania, Sweden, Denmark and Norway. In the latter two, the main airports in their capitals, Copenhagen and Oslo, had to shut down for hours due to drones in late September. Now, it's important to remember here that not all these drone sightings have been attributed to Russia, even if many European governments suspect that Moscow is testing the rest of Europe with exactly these type of hybrid activities.
So Baltic states and Poland here are again front runners, and with the recent provocations, perhaps again that could be a trigger for us to speed up our preparedness, not first of all in this frontier region, but also in the whole European Union. How we can build our anti-drone capabilities and anti-drone capacities.
So how would Europe defend itself against these drones? The easy answer is to shoot them down. But right now, that has proven costly. European nations have lots of different air systems, but they should ideally be used against cruise missiles and aircraft, not drones. When Poland shot down some of the Russian drones crossing into its territory, they used very expensive missiles fired from multi-million-dollar jets against drones worth only a few $1,000s at most. Politicians and military leaders agree that this doesn't make sense. Hence, the drone wall that would prevent these unmanned aerial vehicles from entering in the first place. This wall will not be something totally visible to the naked eye. Sure, there might be masts and base stations located along the eastern border, but they will form a largely invisible integrated system that connects acoustic sensors and surveillance equipment such as mobile cameras and radars with military capabilities that can deal with these drones, be it jammers or even interceptor drones that shoot down or smash into enemy drones. Here's Patrick Tucker, editor at Defense One and one expert on drones, to explain why this system is unique.
But in terms of counter-drone, because they're so hard to detect, you have to create a mesh network. You have to create a system of systems. So you need a whole bunch of different sensors. They can be stuck on trucks. They can be in the air floating. You can have satellites. They can be stuck on buildings. But you need them all operating together in a way that used to be the job of conventional radar, but now must be the job of a wide diversity of sensors. And that has never actually been created yet on this planet. It's going to represent an entirely new form of air defense that has never existed before. But in order to create it, you can't just have a single technology, like a drone is a single technology, a platform. You need a whole bunch of different types working together, and that's the challenge right now.
The idea is that this drone wall would run from northern Norway along Finland's border with Russia down to the borders that Estonia, Latvia, Lithuania and Poland have with Belarus and Russia. It could even continue to Slovakia, Hungary, Romania and Bulgaria along their borders with Ukraine. So what is the time frame for this? This depends both on how sophisticated the wall would be and what the geographical scope is, but estimates have varied from 1 up to 5 years. And it will be costly. Again, the level of sophistication and geography matters, but one figure that's been floated is 10 billion euro or around 11.5 billion US dollars. The high costs have also given some European leaders second thoughts. Why spend so much money on something that might not be very modern or effective by the time it's ready, as drone technology is advancing at breakneck speed?
So this is one of the big issues, I think, in the 21st century, is the more of your decision-making that you put onto artificially intelligent systems that presumably have wide access to data across the battlefield. Remember those autonomous trucks driving around, drones with sensors. The more you can see that puts data in the hands of artificially intelligent systems that are then going to select the best method or tactic for defeating or achieving one mission, one military objective after another, the faster your pace of war gets. And that is its own sort of race that I think is even more challenging and in many ways terrifying, not just an arms race, but a time race where the pace of war itself begins to speed up.
And will it even be that protective? Sure, it could prevent drones from entering from the east, but what about the threat from other directions, including from inside the EU? It is believed that the drones that flew over Oslo and Copenhagen airports were either launched from somewhere nearby on land or even from ships sailing close to the cities. No drone wall can stop that. There is, in other words, plenty to ponder for both EU and NATO defence ministers.